Hello Rayclast, welcome to the Path of Exile build guide for the Divine Ire Igniter Elementalist. This build features tremendous clear speed with an extremely smooth and satisfying playstyle. However, the survivability of the build is pretty mediocre. We managed to pile up a nice health pool, but with no real significant sources of mitigation, the character is still quite susceptible to large damage spikes. The new Divine Ire skill is an excellent method for applying massive ignites when combined with the Stormfire unique ring, and provides sufficient single target damage to take down all the content in the game, with even high tier map bosses typically requiring only a single fully charged blast to burn to death. You can find a path of building link for this character in the video description, as well as any other helpful links. Let's start by looking at the gear for this build. The only required unique item is the Stormfire ring, which can be acquired for only a few chaos. This ring allows our lightning damage to apply ignites, which is necessary because Divine Ire is a physical spell that converts half of its base physical damage into lightning damage. We then convert the remaining 50% of physical damage into lightning damage through gear and passive choices. For your rare gear, the only must-have modifier is the crafted physical to lightning conversion prefix on your gloves. This mod is unlocked by using June to unveil gloves from the Immortal Syndicate encounters. If possible, it is also quite nice to use a pair of Shaper gloves with the faster casting gem built in. The global cast speed roll is excellent for quickly stacking Divine Ire, and the local faster casting support is nice for juicing up a Stormbrand gem for triggering Elemental Overload. Another helpful modifier is the crafted physical damage taken as fire damage prefix on helmets. This mod is also unlocked by unveiling items from the Immortal Syndicate. This allows us to maintain high uptime on the bonuses granted by the Elementalist's Paragon of Calamity node. Beyond that, everything is very standard. You want to make sure to cap all of your elemental resistances and pick up some chaos resistance where possible. Then stack as much life as you possibly can. You will also need to pick up a few dexterity rolls to bring your total dexterity up to 111 to allow you to use a max leveled Swift Affliction support gem. For weapons, you can use a staff or scepters. Whatever you choose, you will want a high cast speed roll for moving quickly with Flame Dash and quickly stacking your Divine Ire. Beyond that, you want to stack as much fire damage, lightning damage, burning damage, and damage over time as possible. If you are using shaped bases, physical damage added as extra lightning damage is also a very strong modifier. If you are feeling lucky, you can try creating and crafting weapons with the new synthesized implicit modifiers for burning damage and faster burns. Make sure you do not pick up any flat fire damage added to spells on your weapons or from any other sources, as this will ruin your ability to use the Elemental Equilibrium passive node. Your Joule priorities are the same as those on your other gear. You want life, cast speed, and any combination of lightning damage, fire damage, burning damage, damage over time, or generic damage. A Watcher's Eye with the faster ailment damage modifier for the new Malevolence R is also an excellent damage boost. For flasks, you will want your preferred life flask, quicksilver and silver flasks for maximum speed, and a couple of defensive utility flasks. These could be any combination of granite, basalt, jade, or stibnite flasks. If you feel like spending an absolutely insane amount of currency and more than tripling the cost of the entire build for a tiny damage boost, I suppose you could try getting a Cinder Swallow Urn unique flask. For passives, we take advantage of several reworked and new clusters in the Templar and Witch areas, as well as a combination of fire and lightning nodes that is unique to Stormfire builds for maximizing the effectiveness of our ignites and shocks. The most important areas to take note of are the new Singular Focus and Dark Arts wheels, which provide strong bonuses for channeling and movement skills, helping us to be more resilient while channeling, and allowing us to spam Flame Dash more freely for fast movement or avoiding boss attacks. We also take the reworked Stormweaver wheel between the Templar and Witch, as well as the reworked Divine Judgment cluster to the west of the Templar. These wheels now have important nodes that convert a total of 25% of your physical spell damage to lightning damage. In combination with the 25% conversion from our gloves and the inherent 50% conversion from Divine Ire, this converts all of our base physical damage into lightning damage. Finally, as with most Ignite builds, we take the Elemental Overload and Elemental Equilibrium keystones. Sadly, the Stormfire ring cannot be equipped until level 80, so you'll have to level with something other than Divine Ire Ignite until then. Personally, I chose to simply skip all of the lightning nodes and grab only fire nodes to level with Magma Orb. You can use whatever you want for leveling, but be sure not to grab Elemental Equilibrium until you are actually ready to switch to Ignite. For the Bandit quest in this build, we just kill all of the bandits for the 2 extra skill points. For our Ascendancy, we choose the Elementalist for her massive boost to Ignite and Shock. I suggest starting with Pendulum of Destruction from the normal ab to give you the largest immediate boost to damage and clear ability while leveling. Next, you want to head through Shaper of Desolation for the Cruel lab to Beacon of Ruin for the Merciless lab. Beacon of Ruin is the most important node for this build, giving us amazing clear speed by proliferating our ignites, and massively increasing our damage through direct ignite and shock bonuses. Finally, grab Paragon of Calamity for the Uber lab. This gives us a small amount of sustain through leech, though this is negligible against single targets based on our weak hit damage. More importantly, it allows us to run elemental reflect maps, and when combined with the physical damage taken as fire damage modifier on our helmet, gives nearly permanent uptime on the damage and survivability bonuses provided by the node. For your Pantheon choices, I recommend the Soul of the Brine King to prevent chain stuns with the Glace upgrade for faster stun recovery. For your Minor God, I suggest the Soul of Rislotha with the Gorillus upgrade for Flask life sustain and fast recovery after you take a large amount of damage. Now we will take a look at the gem links for this build. The main setup in your chest piece is Divine Ire, Infused Channeling, Combustion, Burning Damage, Deadly Ailments, and Swift Affliction. If you cannot afford a 6-link, simply drop Swift Affliction. The most important utility setup in this build is a Stormbrand, linked with faster casting, increased critical strikes, and Culling Strike. This setup is used to trigger Elemental Overload reliably on bosses. If you have a pair of shaped gloves with built-in faster casting, you can add on a power charge on critical strike support with quality for additional critical strike chance. For mana reservation, we use the Malevolence aura that increases our ailment damage. We also use a Herald of Thunder to increase our base lightning damage and boost our clear speed. Stormfire allows our Herald of Thunder to ignite, and you will often find that even in high tier maps, the ignites from your Herald of Thunder are sufficient for clearing many packs on their own. Finally, we use Clarity to boost our mana regen for smoother gameplay. For mobility, I suggest Flame Dash linked with faster casting and Arcane Surge. If you also link a large mana multiplier gem, such as a penetration gem, to this setup, you will be able to level your Arcane Surge 1 level higher. Finally, I am running a few cast when damage taken setups with Immortal Call, Lightning Golem, Temporal Chains, and Arctic Breath. You can use whatever gem setups you prefer here. I will conclude with a brief discussion of the playstyle for this build. Once you have leveled up your gems nicely and filled out most of the damage on the passive tree, it is typically sufficient to simply right-click and release immediately with your Divine Ire to fire off a 1 or 2 stacked blast into packs. Even in top tier maps, this typically provides sufficient damage to clear all packs. Occasionally, you may want to charge up a little more for particularly tough rare or magic packs, but don't waste time charging up for general clear. You just want to spam Flame Dash to move around quickly and fire off small, rapid blasts of Divine Ire. Your Ignite proliferation will take care of the rest. For bosses, drop a Stormbrand to continuously trigger Elemental Overload, then blast them with a fully charged Divine Ire. You then have several seconds to run around and focus on avoiding incoming damage until your Ignite needs to be reapplied. That wraps things up for this build guide. I hope you've had fun, learned something, and been inspired to go and try something new. It is the general consensus that Ignite has been on the weak side in Path of Exile for quite a while now. However, Divine Ire seems to be strong enough to make up for the general deficiencies of the mechanic and enable a very fast, strong, and fun Ignite build. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more similar content, please consider subscribing to my channel and turning on notifications so you can see when new videos go live. The best way you can help the channel grow is to simply watch new videos and share them with your friends. However, if you want to support the channel more directly, you can visit the YouTube gaming link in the video description to become a sponsor of the channel. This is similar to subscribing to someone on Twitch. Thank you all so much for watching, have a glorious day, and I'll see you in Rayclast.